G'day, it's Oscar and answering your questions about how to listen in the workplace. Our last question was from Rachel around how do you notice group dynamics when you're focused on the content. Helen follows up with a question about, thanks Oscar, great advice on face-to-face meetings. How do I do that as a host in a video conference? How do I listen for group dynamics when we're all on video, or worse yet, we're hybrid with some people in a room together and some people connected via video conference? Thanks, Helen. Great question. The first thing I'd point out is every tip that I provided last week around noticing who's not speaking, noticing whether it's systemic or symptomatic, and then noticing if it's internally or externally orientated. All those group dynamics play out in video. Now, specifically, I want to give you some really tactical things to think about as a host in how to think about the group dynamics. The first one is, as a host, when you invite people into the room, please encourage the participants to go into active speaker view, to spotlight the current speaker, and for you as the host to be in gallery view. If possible, a second monitor would be fantastic. Now, we have peripheral vision and we have peripheral hearing. When it comes to hosting video conferences, be conscious. Use your peripheral vision to notice the group dynamic. The simplest way to notice the group dynamic is who is on with a webcam turned on and who is not. Pose questions to those people who are not. Second, encourage and incentivize people to use video. Make a comment about the way one of the participants is nodding in agreement with a point the speaker's making, or the opposite if that might be the case. That way you're conscious not only of the content taking place in the meeting, but also the online group dynamic. The second part I would encourage you to do is kind of do a before and after version of this question. Ask this question at the beginning and at the end of the conference so that you know what the dynamic is. So a couple of questions that other people I work with and they've come up with themselves through me asking them this question. They ask the group, hey, coming into this meeting, what color do you feel like and why? And then at the exit of the meeting, what color are you feeling now and what's changed? Now it'll be interesting to see if there even is a change. It could be, what drink do you feel like coming in and what drink do you leave coming out? I've had people coming in feeling like a glass of water and leaving like a glass of champagne. I've had people coming in feeling like orange juice and leaving like Pepsi. Each of those examples are really interesting, but asking the question to explain the drink, the color, is where you'll start to notice the group dynamics. So when it comes to ensuring as a host, you need to be conscious, are we making progress? And then just use your peripheral vision to notice who's engaged, who's not. Now, a point I do want to make is whether people are coming online with webcam on or webcam off, neither is correct or incorrect. You don't know what's going on in their world. You don't know that they could have been in back-to-back meetings and their energy is really low at this moment in time. So rather than demanding or prescribing all video on, all webcams on, they're adults. Let them choose. Helen, I'll be curious which one of these tips you apply when it comes to noticing the dynamic on video conferences. Now, when it comes to mixed meetings, hybrid meetings with some people physically present together in a room and some people via video, one of the things you want to do is anchor yourself as the host to be conscious of the lowest context modality. What I mean by that is in a room with a number of people in there, they could dominate because they're each speaking to each other be sure to invite the perspectives of people from the lower context modality, either voice or video, to speak in the first 15 to 20% of that part of the agenda or that part of the meeting. Be deliberate about it. A tip I've encouraged some of my hosts to use is consider making the host of the meeting the person in the lowest modality part of the video conference or audio conference. They will be much more conscious of the dynamic than the person who's either in the room or at the video versus audio conference as well. So ask yourself this question, Helen. Do you need to be the host of the meeting, or can somebody else host the meeting as well? If you've got a question about listening in the workplace, if you've got a question about how do you listen in group meetings, one-on-one meetings, budget setting meetings or restructure meetings, performance review meetings, project update meetings, just leave a comment below. I'd be delighted to answer them. I'm Oscar Trimboli, and I'm on a quest to create 100 million deep listeners in the world. You've given me the greatest gift of all. You've listened to me. Thanks for listening.